Romelu Lukaku, 28 years of age now at Chelsea, £100 million transfer fee. Will the guy come good? Will he eventually, will this all work out for Chelsea and for him, for both parties, or will they go their separate ways? That is what we'll be discussing in this video. But smash the like button and do subscribe if you are new to the channel, because this is a really, really interesting topic. So many avenues can go down and discuss with this. But where do I start? He signed for £100 million, and it's really difficult sometimes when you break into that three-figure, 100 million, that 100, that extra zero added on, adds so much more pressure to him. You don't understand. And that's the thing. It's one of the biggest transfers of all time. And with Lukaku, he came with a lot of pressure and people were expecting goals. Obviously, it didn't work out for him at Man United, but he was doing really well at Inter Milan, and he helped them win the Serie A, breaking that Juventus kind of chain of just constant wins every single season. So he was integral for them. We all know there's a player deep down there. We've seen sparks of it, but what is it? Why isn't he working at Chelsea? And I think it all comes down to a couple of things. Quite clearly, him and Tuchel, they're not gelling. And whether that's stuff off the field, we don't know. But all I can discuss is the things that are going on the field. And this system does not suit him. Chelsea's style of play does not suit him. So that's one thing that baffles me with this signing, with this transfer signing. When you look at Chelsea as a club and the way they play the football, it's five at the back, and then it's a 5-2-3 or a 5-4-1 at parts. So that midfield, you got Jorginho and usually Kante or Jorginho in Kovacic. Jorginho and players like that, they move the ball slowly. It's quite a methodical, slow football. And you'd think when you've got dynamism in Reece James and Chilwell going down those fullbacks and bombing on forward and whipping the balls in, like in recent times, like under Conte, when you remember those times when they had Costa up front and they were bombing down the wings, getting balls in constantly. But that's not what they're doing. Under Tuchel, it's slow, methodical play. It's move the ball and shift it from side to side. They camp themselves in the opposition half and they play their football in the opposition's final third. And that's where it doesn't help Lukaku. Lukaku is a big lad, a player that is built on brute strength, and he's got speed and power. Power, I think, is the biggest thing when you talk about Lukaku. There is no other player that's built like he is that can sprint at that speed and drive with the ball, run the channels, spin men off. You know what he can do? Play on the final man. But with this Chelsea side and the formation they play, because they operate in that final third of the pitch, it doesn't give him much space and much time. A lot of times he's coming up against teams where he's literally got a tiny bit of space to operate in, where he could potentially, he's about 2 feet away. He's standing on the centre back, which you want him to do, but then he's 2 feet away from the holding midfielder of the opposition side because they're camped in their half. And that's the thing. So a lot of it, I do think Lukaku has been a disappointing signing, and you could argue, yes, it's a flop, but is it completely his fault? Was this a silly signing from the get-go? Because yes, he's going to get goals, but you do have to get a system to suit your striker. Because, and when you look at his time at Inter Milan as well, he was playing with a 2 up top. He was playing in a 3-5-2 system, where him and Lautaro Martinez were linking up together. He had someone to play off. Whereas at this Chelsea side, there's no one up and around him. He's isolated on his own against those centre-backs. And you want him to have space. And you saw it against Liverpool in the League Cup final when he came on and the game was a lot more stretched and he'd got that time and space to operate in. He looked dangerous. Yes, he was offside quite a few times, but I think a lot of that comes down to the match sharpness. Because you think about if you're not playing often, you're not only playing a few minutes here and there, or you start and it's not working out for you, you need that match sharpness. And we can discuss that 7-touch thing, but I don't think it's all down to him. Yes, I do think there's times where he can be lazy, where he's offside and needs to get back in position and things like that, and potentially attitude. But I know there's a player deep down there. There definitely is, and they've got to play to his strengths. You cannot have a striker in your club with £100 million, a natural goal scorer, a finisher, a guy who's done it around Europe, one of the best strikers in the world, one of the most thought of and sought. Think about it, in the summer, so many clubs are trying to sign him, and Chelsea paid over the odds, in my opinion, for him, but they got the signing. Play to his strengths. You can't spend that amount of money and then be naive to think, do you know what, we'll just shove him out of the system. You cannot spend that money without working it around him, giving him what he needs. Things like Callum Hudson-Odoi playing on the left-hand side. He's a right-footed winger who has no left foot, so he always constantly cuts in onto his right. So he's not going to get those balls whipped in and then you play Ziyech on the other side, who then cuts in onto his left foot. That's the problem then. It's coming inside where you need Lukaku, needs players around him, down those wings, pace that can then whip the balls in, operate in that penalty area where you know he can be so deadly, or even occasionally play on the counter-attack. Give him the ball. The balls, sometimes with Chelsea, it has to go through phases and it has to hit Jorginho. But Jorginho is not going to lift the ball over the top to allow Lukaku to run into space. It then allows teams to get back into position. He's not suited to that. And I can't highlight the fact, but don't get me wrong, Lukaku isn't good and golden in all of this. He's not, by the looks of it, actively willing to try and learn to suit this new system and change his game. It just looks like his head's down. That's why you saw against Crystal Palace, he only had 7 touches because he's not coming deep for the ball, but then potentially he might not be told to. This is why it's a really interesting saga. And one thing I want to really say is a lot of people are saying, well, he needs to be sold. Well, Chelsea will not get the amount they paid for him. Are they willing to take a cut, especially with everything that's going on with Abramovich at the moment? We won't discuss that in this video because I'm not clued up enough on all the politics around it and everything like that. So we're going to scoot over that quite fast. But they can't let an asset like that go for a reduced fee. They've got to work the system around. And we know with Chelsea, managers come and go. Tuchel has been at the club now for a while. This is the 18 months usually you get at Chelsea. So more likely than anything, I think there'll be a managerial change than Lukaku leaving, surely. Surely. You might agree. And then maybe a new manager or change of system might be able to help him because there is this, you've seen the player power at Chelsea. You see it with Christensen, you see it with Rudiger. The players are gaining this power. And I do believe Lukaku will stay at the club. And I think he will come good. As I said, we all know there is somebody in there. And somebody has got to accept that they've got to change, whether that's Lukaku or Tuchel. Something's got to change to work for both parties because right now, Chelsea aren't scoring goals. And you saw it in the League Cup final. You've seen it in recent weeks. Their form isn't horrific, but they just aren't scoring enough. They're drawing too many games. So how about you use your player, your most prolific goal scorer, one of the most prolific goal scorers in Europe, and play to his strengths? You saw it. I did put this Inter Milan shirt on, by the way, on purpose because we're discussing him. You saw it when he was at Inter Milan, how good he was then, how strong he was. Play to his strengths. Give him somebody up there. Just give him something different. Work with him. I don't know what can be done and what formation they should play, but he has the ability to work, whether it's 2 up top or even just wingers that will whip the ball in. Just try something different because Chelsea are at risk of dropping down because Arsenal and teams like that are battling for 4th, and Chelsea need to look over their shoulder because they could easily be caught. I was just looking now. When you look at his Belgium career, he scored 68 goals in 100 games for his country. That is he's a world-class striker. And even then, when you say he's had a poor season, he's got 5 goals and 1 assist. That's not horrific in 17 games. You can see there is somebody there. It's just not working out at the moment. It's not gelling. You saw when he first joined, there is a player there. Chelsea fans need to back him, get behind him. And I know there's comments he's made hasn't helped the situation, but if you want the best for both parties, you're going to have to accept you need to back him. He's not going to leave because I can't see them. Surely not. You can't see them losing a prize possession in an asset that's worth so much and letting him go for a reduced fee. Surely not. You tell me, guys, what do you think? Because I can't decide. I mean, I know he will work out if he is backed and put in the right formation, but will Chelsea manipulate the system so he can work out? You guys let me know. Is there a striker in there? How many goals will he score? I think he'll hit 10 goals. I still think he's got 5 goals in him the rest of this season. But it has been a poor sign and he has flopped so far. But I'm hoping for Lukaku's sake it will all change. But let me know, guys, in the comment section below, will Lukaku work out at Chelsea? Thanks for watching, guys. Smash that like button and do subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help the channel. But thanks for watching. It was the biggest month ever on the channel. I just want to say thank you to you lot because it's honestly, it's astonishing how fast this page is growing. But it's down to you lot. So thank you, guys. Keep sharing and enjoying the content. But BucketHatSam over and out. Thank you. Goodbye.